Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Nayanam
Nayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswati Vasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam Jodayam Vigayam
Ashtabhareshu Bhadreshu
Nastavareshu Bhadreshu
Bhagavad Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Tamashloke
Bhagavati Shloke
Shiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Vaishiki.
For reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, one stop disrespect. Narayana, strength. Narayana, I am rich, supremust human being, and the goddess of learning of the stars offered to the goddess. A regular service renders to Srimad Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam. Everything that is troublesome, the heart is also destroyed from the service, was established from within. Krishna, starting with 17th chapter of Canto 11, verses up to 13. Summary. Straight to the verses. Still, within the dialogue, when in the thick of it, between two very dear friends. Sugri, Krishna is Sugri. Sugri Sarva Bhutana is the our darling is in our heart, is very dear to all of the entities and all of the entities. So Sugri is very dear to your heart, but Sugri kind of emphasizes, highlights that very, very dear. So with the speaker Uddhava. So they are very intimately connected. The conversation continues on the topic of, well, no spoilers. See. Texts 1 and 2, which also will be report to it. But first, let's read the text. Not just translation. And then go back to.
Okay, sure.
Google translation. Go back. All in unison. So, should we ask the microphone? Translations of 13.
Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Lord, previously you described the principles of devotional service that are to be practiced by followers of the Varnashrama system and even ordinary unregulated human beings. My dear Lord, now please explain to me how all human beings can achieve loving service unto you by the execution of the prescribed."
My dear Lord, O mighty armed one, previously in your form of Lord Hamsa, you spoke to Lord Brahma, those religious principles that bring supreme happiness to the practitioner. My dear Madhava, now how much time has passed, and that which you have previously instructed will soon practice, please cease to exist, O Subhirabhya.
My dear Lord Achyuta, there is no speaker, creator.
Was it remind you of?
Calling.
Say it again. Say it again.
Yes, the calling name due course of time, the knowledge will be lost.
Yes. So, right? Therefore, I'm giving it to you, Arjuna, again, because you're a very dear friend of mine. So it's the nature of time. Gets lost. The verses that you know today, it's not a guarantee you will know 10 years from now if you're not reminded of the nature of this world. The covering and the pulling ones. Right?
My dear Lord Achyuta, there is no speaker, creator, and protector of supreme religious principles other than your Lordship, either on the earth or even in the assembly of Lord Brahma, where the personified Vedas reside. Thus, my dear Lord Madhusudana, when you, who are the very creator, protector, and speaker of spiritual knowledge, abandon the earth, who will again speak this lost knowledge?
Since we're all religious, this was kind of to keep references to such services to be
What did that remind you of? Number 7.
Also the Gita.
Okay, where exactly?
There's a part of the Gita where Arjuna asks Lord Krishna what the pure devotees are like how they sit and talk and
End of 2nd chapter. Right?
yeah, 2nd chapter. That's how this one.
Okay. Any other reminders that you reflected on? Yeah, in order, so please describe to me the human beings who might execute the path of loving service to you, and how such service is to be rendered. Somewhere in Bhagavatam,
The beginning.
2nd chapter, verse 10. Say it again.
Maharaj Parikshit inquires, like what is the duty of all
Yes.
human beings?
So I himself out of that one, Steve, it's the highest performance activity, most beneficial to all humanity. Okay.
Shri Sukadeva Swami said, Shri Advaita, best of devotees, thus inquired of the Lord. Hearing this question, the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is pleased for the welfare of all conditioned souls, spoke those religious principles that are
Don't fight, guys. Don't fight. Don't fight. Just one at a time.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Your person is faithful to His principle. Thus gives rise to the highest life, devotion, service, followers of our system. That these were supreme. In the beginning of the Satya Yuga, there was only one social class, called Hamsa, to which all human beings belong. In that age, all people are unalloyed devotees of the Lord of earth. Thus, learned scholars from the first age of Karta Yuga, or the age in which all religious duties are perfectly
in Satya Yuga, the undivided Veda is expressed by the syllable Om, and I was only object of mental become manifest as the whole vegetable of religion. Thus, the inhabitants of Satya Yuga, fixed in aesthetic and free from all sins, worship me as Lord Hamsa.
O greatly fortunate one, at the beginning of Treta Yuga, Vedic knowledge is freed from the heart to the abode of the air of life, 3 divisions, as Rig, Sama, and Vijor. Then, from that knowledge, I appeared as threefold sacrifice.
Final next mistake.
Treta Yuga, the 4 social orders were manifested from the universal form of the personality of God. The Brahmins appeared from the Lord's face, the Kshatriyas from the Lord's arms, the Vaishyas from the Lord's thighs, and the Shudras from the legs of that mighty form. Each social division was recognized by
Okay, so that's a hint to going back to the verses 1 and 2, where we're going to text in the purport. So, the topic and the theme is Varnashrama system. Or Varnashrama, created that coming from the Lord. It's a social anatomy, the way the society is structured. Brahmanas being head, Kshatriyas mighty arms, Vaishyas the ties of his belly, Shudras the leg. So if any way, if in any way, shape, or form this discussion gets reduced to caste system, we're in trouble. So let's unpack this and see how this is not the caste system, because this is everything that Lord Chaitanya fought for, and let's represent this, or try to represent this in the most best way we can. Sri Uddhava Uvacha
Shri Uvacha
Yaspaya Vihitam Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Yaspaya Vihitam Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Yaspaya Vihitam Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Dharmastat Bhakti Lakshana
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 Varnashrama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Sarveshvam Padam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api
Sarveshvam Padam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api
Sarveshvam Padam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api Shri Uddhava
Vacha Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Bhakti Lakshana
Dharmastat Bhakti Lakshana
Shama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Sarveshvam Padam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api
Shri Uddhava Uvacha
Shri Uddhava
Yastvaya Vihita Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Swad Bhakti Lakshanaha
Dharmastat Bhakti Lakshana
Varnashrama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Sarvesham Vipadam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api
Shri Uddhava Uvacha
Shri Uddhava
Swaya Vita Hita Purvam
Yaskaya Vihitam Purvam
Dharmastat Bhakti Lakshana
Dharmastat Bhakti Lakshana
Varnashrama Charavatam
Varnashrama Charavatam
Sarvesham Dvipadam Api
Sarvesham Dipadam Api
Oh, there was a second one. You can see.
Too big.
I didn't. See, that was just the first one. Everybody, Shri Uddhava Vacha, Shri says,
Ya which Advaita Shri Purvam Previous Dharma religious principles Bhakti Lakshana characterized the devotional success with compassion Acharya Acharya with followers salvation of all Vipadam of ordinary human beings do not follow our consciousness Api even Sita according to Manushya Bhakti says and now human beings pervade maybe Swadharma Vishnu Aravinda Shah
Translation. Shri Uddhava said,
My dear Lord, previously described the principles of devotional service that are to be practiced by followers of our system, and even already unregulated. My dear Lord, now please explain to me how all human beings can achieve loving service under you by the execution of the prescribed.
Purport. Lord Krishna has already elaborately explained the process of Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. Now, Uddhava inquires how those inclined towards Karma Yoga can achieve perfection of life, Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Lord Krishna describes that he is personally the creator of Varnashrama system, Chatur Varna Maya Shrishtam, Guna Karma Vibhavasham. Therefore, the ultimate goal of Varnashrama system is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, one should become a devotee of the Lord and learn the process of pure devotional service. The easiest method of achieving pure devotional service is by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. If one submissively and faithfully associates with pure devotees, one can immediately achieve the perfection of love. Krishna conscious person is not required to execute all the formalities of the Varnashrama system. I am less concentrated because I was thinking about association of pure devotees. Right. That's distracted following sentence. And what I was thinking is how that verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, how even a fraction of a moment in association with pure devotees can grant one all the perfections. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhikoi. What is the first part? Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, yeah, the association of devotees, pure devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhikoi, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhikoi, and the first part is Sadhu Sangha. Anyway.
This one starts off with Sadhu Sanghas. I don't know who's that one.
Okay, let's look it up. Anyway, we don't have to look it up. But the point is, I can explain that even a moment of association of pure devotees can grant one all the perfection in life. Say it again. Yes, and Lava Matra, the fraction of a time. It's 11th of a second. That's a blink of an eye, or however you want to visualize it. Sometimes, and Prabhu was asked, so we're with you, Prabhupada, all the time. I think it was we're with you all the time, but we don't see that we have granted all the perfection, right? It's a fair question. If within a moment you grant us all the perfection, how is it that we're with you, but we don't see that? And then he has compared that with cooking with firewood. If the firewood is wet, in other words, if our hearts are still soaked in material desires, it's going to be really difficult to cook. Actually, have you ever cooked with wet firewood? Or start a fire or had fire with a wet firewood? You did? What was the experience?
It's hard.
It was hard.
Very difficult.
Smoke.
It was hard to start, and there's a lot of smoke, very little fire, right? And someone might argue, well, there's smoke, must be fire. But good luck cooking with that fire. Right? And there's going to be a lot of trouble, a lot of discomfort. You might even cry, and you might go hungry for a long time. So what's required is the nice dry firewood. And dry firewood represents our hearts that are eager for Krishna consciousness. The hearts that are set ablaze with enthusiasm that we want this. If our desires are still kind of steeped and drenched in material arena of distractions, some other desires other than those who are aligned with Guru and Gauranga's desires, then it's going to take a very long time. So both perfect transmitter and perfect receiver are required for the transmission. You can have the best Guru, but if the transmitter, receiver is broken, then there's no transmission. Vice versa. You can be the most eager student, but if there's no transmitter, again, there will be a failure transmission. My grandfather, actually, he was a little stingy. he didn't want to spend, actually, he was very stingy. It wasn't my real grandfather, it was the stepfather of my mother. My mother's father left her when she was a young girl. So he used to, so I guess it's step grandfather. Yeah. He was so stingy. He used to dunk on the stove. There was a bucket. Right next to it, there was a bucket. So he used to dunk the wood in the water and put it in the fire because he didn't want to burn so much wood. Oh my God. So, weird logic. Some weird logic. Wood in the water so you can last longer. But it was always smoky. I remember that coming in. It was always very uncomfortable being in the house because so much smoke. But I guess his stinginess literally covered the smoke. Yeah. It was just weird.
We're gonna stop doing that.
The possible implementation on the way. How to save. But anyway, in that way, we can also meditate in the state of our heart, and how much linear levels of gratitude we have received Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's society, and how we reciprocate. Then, very quickly, Prabhupada said it's a matter of moment to be Krishna conscious. And it's not like a moment, but it's rather a very long process, beautiful process of continuous surrender, process that never really ends. Perfection is not very monotone and boring state. It's a very exuberant state of ongoing surrender. So if you just realize that maybe this Krishna consciousness is not for you, hey, the truth is beautiful, no matter how scary or how inconvenient it might sound. And that's the nature of love. It's very expansive. You can just say, hey, I love you. I have to keep engaging and proving, but like expressing my love. And then the love can grow, right? It's never really finished. The love business is never really finished. It's not business. It shouldn't be business. A loving activity. Loving activities, Okay, anyway, that's what I thought. So I got distracted. Sorry about that. I got distracted about the next sentence. Krishna, conscious person, is not required to execute all the formalities of our Varnashrama system, because a Krishna conscious person, absorbed in love of Godhead, automatically gives up all sense gratification and mental speculation. Those human beings who do not follow the Varnashrama system are here referred as Dvipadam, or two-legged. In other words, one who does not follow the religious path of life is known to be human only by the possession of two legs. It's a nice way to put it. They're very much so beating around the bush here. So what's the elephant in the room here? Anyway, even ordinary animals and insects are eagerly engaged in eating, sleep, very constant, mating, and defending. The human being, however, is distinguished from such lower forms of life by his capacity to become religious, and ultimately to love God in pure Krishna consciousness. So, what a nice way to put it. That's the most indirect way I've seen so far. And the word here, and word by word, is, of course, vipadam. Ordinary human beings who do not follow the Varnashrama system. Two-legged actually refers to two-legged animal, as you can see here in these indirect ways. And this is why Varnashrama comes in place. It is meant to elevate us to the human platform. And from there, as a platform, above and beyond, from what goodness we can hope to render transcendental leaps where we can come to the platform, another platform, level up, as it in video game is Brahma Buddha, Brahma Buddha platform. Brahma Buddha Prasanatma Nashucha Nakanshu Samasa Vishu Mat Bhaktim Lavati. That when we come to that platform, then there'll be no limitation, no hankering. It's a very good thing to know what kind of goal or what transcendent goal is like. Be equally disposed to all living entities, right? So if we observe these other things in our heart, meditate on, okay, I have some ways to go. Lamentation and hankering are the function of mind, the actual conditioned heart. It's constantly going on, right? Just like, you know, little birds in the morning, or little cat. There's not any cat around here. Goes and wakes up and goes and looks for the food. Where's shelter? Where's food? So hankers for things. And then it laments. Oh, that bowl of milk was there yesterday. Where is it now? So we also, our minds, our conditioned minds are always like that. Hankering, it's like a muscle, right? It's extending, hankers, and then laments, retracts. Hankering, lament. So the whole idea of Krishna consciousness, or elevating, is to intercept and become somewhat stable, peaceful. And if you have to anchor for more association with devotees, if you have to lament, you can lament for the missed opportunities of association and service for devotees. That way you can purify that natural propensity. So what is the, besides this one, what are the other reasons why we should organize our society? Or what's the difference between what Prabhupada is talking about here with Varnashrama and the caste system that we know of or we have heard of? I don't know of. I don't think I've experienced. But we have heard of that even today might be present somewhere. But what is the difference? Shyam.
The difference is the caste system we have heard of is quite rigid and it's based on like based on your birth.
It's rigid and based on birth. Yes.
And it has no other like how to say, not like goes from one like one
Equal opportunities taken away, right?
It's not equal opportunity. You cannot choose what you want.
You're stuck, right? You're stuck.
And you don't have a payout.
But it's very rather depressing, right? Okay. You have something to that? Oh, microphone.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to hear you.
I was saying that Prabhupada knew that that question purposely specific to the thing of 420, as Sham mentioned right now, Purna Karma Vibhagasa.
Yeah.
Because that's the main highlight of the verse.
Yes. This is the truth.
Yeah. Prabhupada knew that would come up, and that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted that. So
Yeah, 413. If anybody tries, yes. Thank you for sharing it.
So if you promote karma into certain qualities, work qualities, work, the original Varnashrama system judges a little more fairly.
Yeah. It's it's right there in Bhagavad Gita. Came from the lotus mouth of Krishna himself. He didn't say Janma Karma. He didn't say by birth. He said Guna Karma. Right? So all the caste brahmanas, pay attention. Go back to the Gita. Some say, but yeah, it's by equal opportunity. You exhibit qualities, you exhibit good performance, you know what you're doing, then of course, get that Brahminical or Kshatriya like or Vaishya like tag or qualification, formal qualification that puts you in that category. Would you, and the classical example, to be operated by somebody who says, well, I don't have this formal qualification, neither I went to school, but I was born in a family of surgeons. Let me operate on you. But do your dental work and start drilling. So it doesn't work that way. And this is not to say that those who are born in a family or Kshatriya family, our friend, your friend and devotee meet is coming from Kshatriya line of Patels, even in Gujarat. How many generations back? Many generations back, your Kshatriya family. How many? Oh wow, very strict. No mixing.
Start of the universe.
Huh?
Since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time, that ruled the world. Or at least, designated domain given. So not to say that, persons like me who are coming in that line, are born in that family, they don't have that equal opportunity. They also have equal, but they have to show. They have to show guna, qualities, show karma. Then they can be classified as. Okay. Another view, why the discussion about Varnashrama Dharma? See here, somewhat touchy and difficult. Yes.
I have like a question.
I have a question. Is it really like? I can wait. You can wait. Okay. That's right. Why the discussion of Varnashrama? Why there's so much dispute, so much differences of opinion? Yes. I have some ideas.
I was thinking that bhakti and Varnashrama Dharma are two different things. So therefore, a lot of two systems.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Well, I think it's a little bit difficult because, especially when you think of it as like Brahmanas are the head and Kshatriyas are the arms, etc. I mean, everybody's going to want to be the head of the arms. Nobody really wants to be like the waist and the legs, right? There's kind of this implicit hierarchy, which like humans were kind of naturally conditioned to want fame and adoration and respect and from society. And in some cases that's healthy, and in some cases it's not. And so you kind of naturally want to think of yourself as, oh, I am like, I am respected by society, and therefore I should be like a head of the arts. So, but if that's not, if that doesn't work with your character, your qualities, and the work that you like to do, then that's going to cause unhappiness for you and unhappiness to society. So it's kind of it's a little bit tricky, especially when in an age or maybe in a culture where people really pay attention to like, oh, I want other people to look up to me. I want other people to honor me.
Yeah. Would it be safe, Christina, to say that we've failed? Because it's true, what you're saying is true, everybody wants to be ahead. Would it be safe to say that that is so because we have failed to appreciate our legs? Arms. Well, arms, everybody wants to be arms too. Nobody wants to rule. That we have failed to appreciate our legs, or that class of society. So therefore, there's a lack of appreciation. There's this kind of artificial want to be something.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, we live in a society where it's like we're very divorced from seeing the people who actually do the work to help make our lives comfortable, right? You go to a grocery store and there's just all these food on the shelves that you can just kind of take, and you don't have to think about like, oh, the farmers who actually like grew these plants and took care of the cows and did all of these work. We're kind of separated from it, and that's sort of a symptom or a characteristic of the modern, especially the Western post-industrial society or industrial post-industrial society. So it works better when you're in. Like, I understand the reason for the whole farm community thing, because when you're in a community where you can really see how everybody contributes, then you're not going to think like, oh, the person who is studying the scriptures and doing the sacrifices is better than the person who grows the plants that help me eat, right? You're going to see those as like, wow, these are both really important contributions. So yeah, it's definitely about appreciation.
Yeah, the whole thing actually depends on our legs. How far would you go with our legs? Guys, how far would you go? How far would you crawl? It depends on it. So what's the proper thing to do next time? And just think about it. This is a nice meditation.
Don't skip leg day.
Thank people around you. Thank those who are invisible behind the scenes. To catch them and express your appreciation. It's nice. It's really nice, and it goes a long way. It changes the culture of this artificial want, and it makes everybody appreciated and happy. Yes, Prabhu. But by nature, we are rebellious. By nature, and this is another reason why the Varnashrama system is organized society, because by nature, without it will be chaos and anarchy. Actually, a lot of my friends I grew up with were kind of heavy anarchists. So they're writing, funny thing, they were writing graffitis, spread anarchy everywhere. And it was all over the place. And I was thinking, oh, that doesn't sound right. And then one morning came up and the same graffiti came to be scratched, and then there's a sign, "Don't tell me what to do." Sign anonymous. So we have to, in other words, there's no way around it. The very statement, spread anarchy everywhere, it's kind of commanding, and it's alluding to, there's always a system in place, and there's no way around it, unless you deciding you're very determined to remain a Vijja Pashu or the two-legged animal. Even in animal kingdom, there's some order, packing order. It's unavoidable. So the point is to make it as humane as possible. Humankind be both. Be human, be kind. As humane as possible, and to make it as just as possible. So all these functions, they are doing their part. Legs, they take your places, and they make things happen. arms, they protect. Kshatriya literally means to kshatriya, to protect. So you have your administration, your police, military force, the governing class of society. Then you have your Vaishyas. This is a social analogy. Your Vaishyas, that's your thigh, that's your belly, what brings the food. Producers, food producers, mercantile class, merchants, like that. But if you observe today's society, how does it look like? Huh? A belly with legs, yeah. The corporations are like kind of running the show. So if it's like cute, if you want to like that drawn, it'll be like a caricature of a big belly with the legs, big legs and big arms, and a very small head. Because the most intelligent people today are engaged in the marketing industry. And they're keeping you in a world that's like a casino. Like keep pulling that lever. That removed all the clocks. That strategically put the patterns on the carpet. So just so you can keep pulling that lever. So you can be oblivious to the reality. And these are like intelligent people who actually create the situation and keep you coming back. This consumer society that it's, also promoting schooling that is actually interfering with your education. Go to school. Go to school so you can process all that data, all that information. But we won't worry about character. We don't have to worry about it because we don't care about that. So in that way, with these uncontrolled senses, we became easily manipulated in society. And when the senses are not under control, like Caesar said, give them bread, give them games, they'll be happy. Right? Like taming the animals, giving them. But no, we want more. We want more of life. There's more to life. Right? We don't want to keep coming in that hamster wheel, going nowhere fast. We want to exit spiritually awake. And this Krishna consciousness, Varnashrama Dharma, and Krishna consciousness proposal, humble yet bold proposal by Srila Prabhupada, and entire parampara is actually that. It's that and so much more. It's the ultimate emancipation program. You want to get free? Take it. Not only take it, but you can also give it to others. And in that way, our heart can be satisfied, as we mentioned earlier. Brahmabhuta, Prasanatma. Very satisfied. Otherwise, you keep going and going nowhere fast. Did you have anything? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying that elaborating more on Bhagavad Gita 4.13, that Prabhupada is translating that verse, Punakarma Vibhagasa. In 1949, Prabhupada wrote a letter to the Deputy Prime Minister of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and he's specifically mentioning, this is very interesting because we see that okay, Prabhupada is translating that verse, but did he mean exactly before he was starting his call that he wanted to create Brahmanas? Now, if you see this letter says, nationalist division of human races is artificial, but scientific division of the caste system is as advised in Bhagavad Gita is natural. He's saying we shall have to pick up Brahmanas and others not only from Indian people, but from people all over the world. So that's the proof. He actually thought about it even before starting his call. He's saying the vegetate caste system.
It's been taking me since 1931, since he got that instruction.
Yeah, and that's, I was very astonished. This letter is very much focusing on this caste system and the present India, which is like, and he's emphasizing that it was never sanctioned in the past descriptions. and he's trying to convince this big personality so that make some change and then make some difference in society.
Thank you for sharing. The discussion about Varnashrama cannot be completed up here.
Just in terms of, it's interesting that some discuss and look at Varnas. And when examined in total, like the Brahmana, like was mentioned, persons might want to get etc. But when you examine the whole package, most people pass on that. Similarly for Kshatriya. When you look at the responsibility, like I'll give you an example, that's often heard, especially Kshatriya. You know, we think of the crown and servants, ordering people, etc. But the situation like Arjuna was in, one who was ready to give all that up because he was so onerous. And actually in the statements repeatedly throughout the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Maharaj and all the Pandavas, etc., they were just, even they, as trained Kshatriyas, they were feeling the burden of executing the duties in that order of life. In fact, they repeatedly said, may we never take birth again, this burdensome order of life of the responsibility of everything. So when the actual responsibilities look at, the facility that's offered that one might be interested in sense gratification, it doesn't compare at all to the level of responsibility. So most persons do pass on that unless they have that nature. So the point of the Varnashrama system is that it allows persons to find a comfortable position and they can be satisfied. That's the element that's missing in modern society. We think that there's something at the top. It's like I remember seeing, I had this realization doing book distribution in Orleans, Bourbon Street. So what these people do, they get drunk. Bourbon Street is just a dirty street with a name, that's all. So because they're intoxicated, they're walking this direction. They see people coming from this direction. They think, oh, there must be something down there. There's nothing down there. And the people going the other direction are seeing them coming from there. Oh, all these people are coming from there. There must be something that direction. And they walk like that, intoxicated until they get tired and go home. There's nothing on the whole street. So the point of Varnashrama is find a comfortable position and then get to the real business. Find a comfortable position and get to the real business. And not move around. Like that was the other thing that came out about upward mobility. We can't move around. The idea, and this is very dear to especially in the West, we want to be able to move around. That's move around for what? That's the people walking, oh, it must be down that way. Oh, no, it must be that way. But it's hard for us to appreciate that. But anyway, there are so many different things. It requires some systematic study.
Yes, it requires a head and intelligent. And you're all young, intelligent. So, John, in my earlier example of intelligent people being employed by the big marketing company, don't sell yourself cheap. Really go for what matters and emancipate. Get grip on your mind and your senses. Really situate yourself in what your nature is. It will be revealed in due course as we apply ourselves in Krishna consciousness.
What time from it? Prabhupada gave a very nice example to help us. He said, just like on a train, there's a first class car, first class compartment, or just like an airplane. Let's use an airplane. If any of you've seen, videos, sometimes they have a first class compartments on airplanes. What they look like, it's like an apartment. Have an apartment on the airplane. And then there's the cattle car, where you're sitting. You don't even have an armrest yourself. You're sharing an armrest with someone.
And there's a guy behind you,
Yeah,
pushing the seat forward.
yeah, and all of that. So
But everyone arrives at the destination at the same time. It's not that the first class compartment gets there any sooner. You may get off the plane soon. But everyone arrives at the destination at the same time. Prabhupada said like this, he said, just like on a train. He said, it's not that the third class compartment, fourth class compartment, or even the people hanging out in India, on the rooftop or whatever, they all arrive at the station at the same time. He said, so this is the situation with the Varnashrama system, if you handle it properly.
Very good point. Yes, yes. Also, it's not complete unless we hear from.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, one of the tricky things about applying Varnashrama ISKCON is because there are statements here, like Prabhupada says that Krishna conscious person is not required to execute the formalities of the Varnashrama system.
Yeah.
So we think, I'm a devotee, this is not for me.
Yeah,
But then he says, because a Krishna conscious person absorbed in love of Godhead automatically gives up all sense gratification and mental speculation. So, as long as we're not completely absorbed in love of Godhead, of all sense gratification and speculation, then Varnashrama still applies. So I think one of the things that happened in the past is that devotees thought, yeah, we're transcendental, that means we can do anything, for Krishna, which is true for a transcendental person. But if you're not on the transcendental platform, then if you try to just do anything, it is most likely not going to be sustainable. Because of like what Randy was saying, that you won't be satisfied because it's just not you. So basically we need to know ourselves, know what our natures are, know what makes us tick, and what inspires us, and do that and connect it to Krishna, rather than thinking that it doesn't matter, we can do anything. As many devotees, they tried, and this and that, and they left, and they ended up doing what they're cut out to do, but in the material world. So it's better to be honest about who we are, and we're only going to be happy when we're truly being ourselves.
Yeah, understand where we're at. It's a requirement for me anytime. We know the point B, but in Google Maps, unless you know where you are, at point A, the journey will be impossible. Honest assessment will facilitate the path. Okay, we have a lot of hands, but these are the topics that the whole many part seminars and workshops are giving. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Bring the discussion to the breakfast, please. Do that, and we'll close for today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ramdara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Santo,